Money, money, money. Money isn't everything. Information is just as important in life. A person who has sufficient information can rise very high. He can achieve success without a problem. Tenerife has undergone important changes over the last few decades, changes which have allowed us to increase our standard of living, to generate new opportunities, but also to deal with new challenges. Some of those opportunities and challenges have been in the building of our infrastructure and new services, which, as I say, are the basis of that better standard of living. But it's also true that we now have a richer, more multicultural society, which needs greater social integration. It's obvious that a multicultural society does not just appear. People are very important. For this reason, the public, the private, the institutional, and associations and partnerships must come together. The Tenerife Island Authority has been working since 2007 so that this can become a reality. In this legislature, the International Cooperation Service has been set up, and it has, of course, borne fruit. And its greatest fruits are the project called In the Same Direction, and the subsequent project Together in the Same Direction, where there's no other formula for interculturalism than going in the same direction. The Together in the Same Direction project has been created to be useful, tremendously useful to the whole of Tenerife society. For this purpose, we've not tried to implement infrastructures or to provide direct social services, which, furthermore, may already be offered by other organizations or other social agents. What we have been working on is the empowering of associations of immigrants, and we've been creating a network of agents who all contribute to the cohesion and social coexistence and intercultural integration. It's a network which, as I say, is made up of very different agents, private organizations, social agents, NGOs, the university, and, to sum up, everything which Tenerife society contains and is made up of. In that network that we've shaped, the associations of immigrants are the fundamental base, the pillar. Why? Because they're the voices, the representatives of the new citizens of Tenerife, of the people who come from other countries, from other continents, but who live together and are therefore fundamental for the achievement of that cohesion and that intercultural coexistence between all the people of Tenerife. For this purpose, we've begun to design and execute a project which is based on the establishment of stable, established, lasting reasons which attempt to achieve all those objectives, not in an ephemeral way, but well established and permanent for the whole society. The Together in the Same Direction project has fulfilled the aspirations of the Tenerife Immigration Observatory as regards bringing together the leading actors of the migratory phenomena which have occurred over the last decade on the island of Tenerife. The project has fortunately been able to draw on the experience, the knowledge, the resources, and also the set of relations that the observatory has created over the last few years to deal with the management of projects, thus overcoming the preferential attention that the observatory had been devoting to scientific research on these phenomena. The broad network of organizations and the commitments that have been made have decided to work together in the development of 5 strategic blocks, including that of research into the social context, something which is very much its own and in which the observatory has long experience. A second block, which is also highly relevant, is linked with the consolidation of the structures of the associations of immigrants. A third block, which is related with raising awareness and communication with Tenerife society. A block which has to do with the coordination of all those bodies which are participating in the project. And a fifth and final block which is linked with co-development actions. The Together in the Same Direction project, from my point of view, has supplied three distinctive elements to the development of projects of these characteristics. In the first place, the capacity to integrate associations, a range of organizations and a number of local councils. Let us say that this gives it a dimension which is greater than any other project we've ever carried out at the Tenerife Immigration Observatory. In the second place, within the very working structure of the Tenerife Island Authority, the integration of different services and elements which had not happened up to now has led to a working dynamic with enormous potential for future development. And finally, we must not forget that Together in the Same Direction also has a commitment to be able to integrate all those elements which up to now in some way have not taken part in the social development of the island of Tenerife. Since the start of the Together in the Same Direction initiative, 16 training activities have been carried out, some of which have been repeated at the request of the network of organizations. These activities are organized taking into account the blocks which are the structure of the initiative. Over 300 people have taken part in them, from more than 60 different bodies. All the training activities that have been carried out have arisen through the demands of the network of organizations, and mostly the associations of immigrants. The round tables have been where it has been decided by consensus which activities to carry out. The training activities have fallen into three large groups. Those devoted to management training, such as courses of fiscal and accounting management for associations. Then there are those on communication and awareness raising, such as the seminars for good practices in communication on immigration for media professionals. And finally on social skills, such as courses on conflict resolution or communication skills. According to the evaluations carried out, all the training activities have in large part been either fairly or very satisfactory, and the efforts made in training, knowledge and the acquisition of tools and abilities are recognized as one of the priority demands of the network. This is a point which has been very well evaluated, but I'd like to go back to 2 points which have been commented on. 2 objectives which were not stipulated but which were achieved. One was the integration of the associations, because these training courses allowed us to get to know each other a little bit better. And also they created a kind of self-criticism on how we did things and how we ought to do them. Because before 2010 there was a training plan aimed mainly at how to do things properly, from the point of view of the leaders. And in that regard, to be honest, it was very good for us to get back onto a road from which we'd got lost. But we had to do it in a different way, the right way. In the Together in the Same Direction project, we've chosen the media, and the radio to be exact, not only because it reaches a very wide audience due to its immediacy, but because it's a medium that is listened to. And that's the important thing, to hear different voices, to get to know different experiences, to find them or to separate them. In our spaces, we've not only had the opportunity to give good news, but bad news too has played an important role. To be exact, it's here and now that matters, and we've had things to tell which have not been very pleasant. Or why not complain about those things in Tenerife society which we thought could be changed, which could be different, and which were not worthy of Tenerife? I certainly have to say that things are changing in Tenerife society. So much so as to say that, for instance, in the editorial staff of this organization, Radio Club Tenerife, we've involved many people, practically all the editors involved in this project. We've changed headlines, changed ways of expressing ourselves, changed ways of telling a news story, when any of the people of Tenerife who started life overseas have been a significant part of that news. We've changed, and I myself have changed, to the point of eradicating from my vocabulary some words that we used to use quite naturally. What I can say is that I trust that if I have changed, if we've changed, Tenerife society can change too, and we shall be able to move all together in the same direction. The Together in the Same Direction initiative has promoted the conduct of multiple actions on the radio, taking the experiences of many people and organizations who devote their efforts to the assessment of the new multicultural reality of Tenerife to the airwaves. To a large extent, Radio Club Tenerife Cadena Ser has been the station that's carried out this work, in close collaboration with the network of organizations. Programs such as La Portada, Hoy por Hoy Tenerife, Los Desayunos del Mencey, Radio Club Deportivo, and especially El Tajaraste with Puchi Mendez have been the ones which, by offering their microphones, have been committed to speaking about living side by side, cohesion and dialogue. In total, over 60 interventions with over 150 people taking part have been heard every week, carrying out an enormous task of dissemination and awareness raising on the new society of which we are a part.
Con respecto a la radio, pues nosotros pusimos un notable alto.
With regard to the radio, we gave it a very good mark because the truth is that it is a primordial factor for these questions, to bring what we do into the light of day and above all, to deal with the subjects and positive matters. To emphasize in the media the positive part of the phenomenon of immigration.
La parte positiva del fenómeno de la inmigración.